For the past 5 days, of course, Americans across the country have erupted in protest over George Floyd's murder and the racial disparities that it exposes. This weekend, Dr. Cornel West weighed in, saying that America may very well be a failed social experiment, and also that the neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party has their own problems.
It looks as if the system cannot reform itself. We've tried black faces in high places. Too often our black politicians, professional class, middle class, become too accommodated to the capitalist economy, too accommodated to the militarized nation state, too accommodated to the market-driven culture tied with celebrity status, power, fame, all of that superficial stuff that means so much to so many fellow citizens.
Friend of the show and former Sanders campaign national co-chair Nina Turner. She joins us now via Skype with her reaction. Nina, what did you make of Dr. Cornel West's statement there?
Poignant, right on time, as usual, an indictment of both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, not letting anybody go unscathed. It is not enough just to have somebody of a certain ethnic or racial group in leadership if that person or those people don't have a deep-seated commitment to justice and to love. And what Dr. West is saying, he's saying the same thing that James Baldwin said when he wrote in his book, The Fire Next Time, the letter to his nephew about the conditions, the racialized conditions in this nation. And so Dr. West is making people very uncomfortable, especially the Democrats, and they should be uncomfortable. You know, for me right now, this is not about your political affiliation. This is about right or wrong, whether or not you have the commitment, the character, the clarity, the vision, and the leadership to sacrifice something and to do the right thing on behalf of Black people in the United States of America.
Nina, could you speak to that question of right and wrong? What is your sort of high-level takeaway of both the meaning and the morality of some of the tactics used in the movement?
I mean, certainly the looting bothers me. I saw a video of a shop owner, husband and wife, the woman being beaten, which is unacceptable. You know, that kind of stuff cannot be tolerated. Protests, yes. Put your hands on somebody, hell no. That there is a bubbling up in this nation. It has been percolating for a very long time, Crystal, and they know this. Remember the Kerner report during the 1960s, the civil unrest, the riots all over the United States of America in major cities prompted President Lyndon B. Johnson to commission a group of people to study this. The Kerner report is just as true. It was true in the 60s and it's true today. And what the conclusion of that report was that one nation, that we are one nation and we're moving towards two separate societies, one Black and one white, separate and unequal. That report called for expansion of aid and programs into the African American community that have yet to be realized. So we don't have to recreate the wheel here. This stuff has been happening generation after generation. And you know what? The zeitgeist of this nation has always been to treat African Americans somehow as the other, and it reveals itself socially, politically, economically. So this is not just about Mr. Floyd. This is about Miss Bland. This is about Emmett Till. This is about Tamir Rice in my own home city of Cleveland, Ohio. This is about generations of oppression at the hands of the United States, whether it's local, regional, state, and federal. And this nation needs to get it right.
You know, Nina, another leader, Van Jones, he was on CNN, I believe, on Friday, and he made a comment which some people found pretty provocative, and I wanted to get your reaction to that. Let's take a listen.
It's not the racist white person who's in the Ku Klux Klan that we have to worry about. It's the white liberal Hillary Clinton supporter walking her dog in Central Park who would tell you right now, people like that, oh, I don't see race. Race is no big deal to me. I see us all as the same. I give to charities. But the minute she sees a Black man who she does not respect or who she has a slight thought against, she weaponized race like she had been trained by the Aryan nation.
What did you make of that, Nina?
Amen. Van Jones is exactly right. And he didn't say anything any different than what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said in the letter to the Birmingham jail when he described the white liberal. He mentioned the Klanner, and he didn't say anything different than what Minister Malcolm X also said about white liberals. It is the truth. It is an uncomfortable truth, but it is a truth. And we must realize that it is not enough. Yesterday I had the opportunity to walk through a park with my father. We passed an elderly gentleman who stopped my dad, and he said, white people just don't get it. That is summed up in all of this. White people just don't get it. So whether you're wearing a hood or whether or not you are someone who is wrapped and cloaked in your white privilege, and you think just because you are not overtly racist, that somehow that saves you from the indictment on this country and your behaviors and your actions. So Van Jones was absolutely right. And Crystal and Sega, let me just say this. The Fire Next Time, I encourage everybody to read that book. I have been just can't sleep at night. I've had friends call me, just burst out in tears spontaneously about what is going on. Black folks are traumatized. James Baldwin, in that letter to his nephew, just two very points I want to make. He said that they have destroyed and are destroying hundreds of thousands of lives and do not know it and do not want to know it. See, that's why some people were uncomfortable about what Van Jones and Dr. West said, because they don't want to know the truth. And then the other point he made to his nephew, as he said, I've written this letter over and over again. He said, this innocent country set you down in a ghetto in which, in fact, it intended that you should perish. That is the moment that we are in right now. That is why people are bubbling up, because this condition that Black people find themselves in is deliberate. It was done on purpose, and we can undo it on purpose. But in order to be able to do that, we got to be able to deal with some hard truths. America is a racist, anti-Black nation, and Black folks endure it politically, socially, economically, racially, and environmentally every single day of our lives.
Nina Turner, thank you as always for your
Thanks,
words.
Nina.
Thank you both.
Next on Rising, friend of the show Zed Jelani discusses how this uprising compares with similar events around the world when Rising continues.